So guys, I know it's been a while since I've done a video, and there has been a lot that has happened since the last video that I have put out here on YouTube. Now, I want to go back to, and this might be a little bit of a long conversation because of the nature of the conversation and what we're actually faced with currently. A while ago, a couple years ago actually, I was having a conversation with another YouTuber. We were talking on the phone, and I think we were actually live on this person's channel. Now, being on YouTube, like my whole thing was, trying, basically getting in, having the conversations with people, and eventually, when something serious happened, something concerning the Black community happened, trying to have conversations about those things. Kind of moved away from that a little bit because just too busy to really keep up with it, in all honesty. So me and his brother had this conversation, and it was about Obama. This is the first, I think, one of the first conversations I've had with his brother about Obama, and he was talking about how good Obama was for the nation and how good Obama was for Black people. And my whole thing was, good for Black people, how? Well, he was talking about, well, it's good optics. It's a good look for history. Obama, it's good, and I'm like, okay, it looks good, it's good optics, but our people can't eat optics. So what if it looks good? What is this dude planning to do for Black people? And he said the same thing that most Black people said before this jackass was elected as president. Well, he's not going to be able to do anything for Black people. His first term, white people aren't going to let him do anything for Black people. He has to play the game. See, he has to play the game. He's making chess moves. He's playing the game. He's gonna get in and smooth the white people over, and make it look like he's giving them what they want. I mean, I'm paraphrasing at this point. This brother wasn't saying all that. This is an amalgamation of a lot of different conversations. But this brother was basically saying, it looks good, it's good optics, He was basically saying the same thing. I'm adding some other talking points that other people have made about it also. And his second term is when he'll really be able to do something for Black people. And that was absolutely the silliest shit that I've ever heard. Because no other president before Obama or after or since Obama has done anything like that. Come out talking to their constituency, white America, and telling them a bunch of empty ass shit. No other president did that. Whatever they told America they were going to give America, substitute America for white people, because that's who they were talking to. When they're talking about Black people, they address us specifically. When they say Americans, they mean white people. Remember this. When white people say Americans, they're talking about them. Understand that. They don't look at us as just Americans. They look at us as African American or Black. We're not just Americans. They're not white Americans. They're Americans. Always pay attention to how they address themselves and us. So, fast forward now to Trump's inauguration. Fast forwarding past that, the end of his term. Last week, on the 5th or the 6th, the 6th or the 7th, when the white terrorists, the white supremacist terrorists, because let's face it, that's what they are. They're terrorists. And that's exactly what I said about the Confederacy. I made a video talking about that. The Confederacy was a terrorist organization, even though they were their own separate independent nation when they seceded from the rest of the country, the Union. They became their own sovereign nation. Sorry about that. they committed treason against America. And the Confederate white supremacist terrorists who stormed D.C. and rioted all in other states across the country are also terrorists. Every single white supremacist attack on this nation has been a terrorist attack. But America won't call it what it is. I'm sorry. White supremacy won't call it what it is. I'm not going to say white people aren't calling it what it is, because plenty of white people that I've heard are referring to these people as terrorists. Now, let's be clear. When I speak about white supremacy or any subject, I'm not speaking in any absolutes. I don't talk in absolutes because I don't think we know anything absolutely. Everything is subject to change, even what you think you know, through and through. Now, while the majority of white people are white supremacists, without a doubt, I would say that there are very few that are not white supremacists, meaning they're not actively doing things to promote or increase white supremacy's stranglehold on the world. Now, they may be passive onlookers who aren't necessarily doing anything to fight or combat white supremacy, and or they may be an individual who thinks that if they help out black people or particular black people, that is them kind of giving a boost to the black community and a slight to white supremacy. Could possibly be. Now, back to the terrorists. They are terrorists. Every on-duty officer that was there should have opened fire on these people like they've done to people in the past. We already know if they were... We already know, man. We already know the contradiction. If they were Black Lives Matter protesters, the cops would have opened fire. They would have came with riot gear. They'd have been busting heads and shooting the shit out of people with bing bag guns and rubber bullets, something that they're not supposed to do. And we already know some black people would have been murdered because some cops wouldn't have used rubber rounds or bean bags. Or bean bags. They would have used live ammunition. These people attempted a coup on our nation's government. It did not succeed, but they still attempted it. Now, I want to address Negro Jim Crow Clyburn. Now, I try not to say anything disparaging about black people on YouTube or even in public, really. But I gotta say, for a black man who was terrified to death when those white supremacists came looking for his old fat ass, he was terrified, just like all the others. They were terrified. And you know what they're thinking? Excuse me. What they better be thinking? Holy shit. The white people that we've been siding with and expecting to protect us from black people are now siding with the white supremacist terrorists, and now they're not protecting us. And since we've alienated ourselves from the grassroots black people who would actually protect us, now we're fucked. We have nobody watching our back. Because I'm sorry for all you black politicians, all you black bootlicks and sambos. I'm sorry, but we can't count on you fuckers to do anything for us. So you can't count on us to take no shots for you. That's just the way the fucking cookie crumbles, unfortunately. Jim Clyburn. This makes me have even less respect for him. This makes me have even less respect for him than I had previously, and it really wasn't much other than just general respect for a human being. But now, this man said that the song Lift Every Voice and Sing needs to be changed to the national anthem so that we can bring the country together in unity and solidarity with the white supremacists. Now, I'm going to say this. That is the most pussiest, bitch ass thing that I've ever heard another grown man say in my fucking life. These people want blood. They want to take over the country. And you want to sing songs with these motherfuckers. You want to sing songs with people who came strapped with semi-automatic weapons, body armor, bombs, and the intent to zip tie, kidnap, hold hostage, and or murder people. And instead of going after these people like white supremacy was trying to do with quote unquote black identity extremists, which is a nonsensical term, trying to basically put a terrorist label on black people, which really didn't go over. That shit didn't work. It didn't work. Because the truth of the matter is, white people are terrified of black people doing what white people are always fucking doing, which is coming together, galvanizing, saying fuck what you say, and taking shit over. See, white people have been pumping the fear into, white supremacy. I keep saying that. White supremacy has been pumping the fear of black revolution into the minds of the white society. And that's what they've been afraid of. That's why they've always voted for the white supremacist presidents who are tough on crime, aka tough on black people, who are going to make new drug legislations and new laws against drugs and drug crimes, basically more laws against black people, new and improved gun laws, basically doing everything they can to keep as many black people from buying guns as possible. We all know this. We all know this. And the whole time, the people that they should have been afraid of are the motherfuckers sitting right next to them, living next door to them, across the street from them, who sleeps next to them or in the next room. Those are the people that they should have been afraid of the whole time. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Now, how could a coup like this actually take place? How could there be so many law enforcement officers and public officials who were seemingly complicit in this terrorist attack on the nation? Because mind you, if they were Muslim, quote unquote Muslim extremists, they would have murdered all of them. They would have opened fire. The military would have came down the road and they would have slaughtered those people. No questions asked. And Americans would have been proud of it. Now, you may ask, why do I say that government officials were complicit in the attack? Simple. Because these people that have actually been arrested, you may applaud the fact that they're being hunted down and arrested, but what you really need to take a close look at is, okay, they are being arrested, but what are they being charged with? Because the crimes that they're being charged with, are you kidding me? They're being charged with crimes that they can get out on their own recognizance on. Trespassing, petty theft, things that you may not even go to court for. No, they'll set a court date. The judge will probably give you some bullshit community service or dismiss the charge altogether. These people are not going to prison for treason. They're treating it as though it was not what we all saw it to be. The white supremacist media is helping them to cover it up. And the sad part is, it's not over. This will happen again. This was just the beginning. See, what's happening now is just adding fuel to the flames that have already been sparked. Now that these people know that they're not going to face any federal charges, they're not going to prison, this is giving them even more incentive to carry out another attack. The inauguration is in a week. We have no idea what's going to happen. But we do know that these people want to come back out in full force. Now, this aspect of what's going on, black people, we need to stay out of it. We don't need to be involved with any rioting, anything like that. Any storming of any federal buildings or anything. We do not need to be involved with any of that kind of shit. Because if we get involved, we know they're coming for us. We know that. And we're not getting the same petty charges they're going to get. We're getting felony convictions. You know. So I will say that we need to stay out of this aspect of it. But we don't need to ignore the entire situation. We need to be ready and prepared. Because they're gearing up to come into our neighborhoods. Jason Black put out a really good video about, I think it's the 7 steps to Nazi Germany. We are, in the 4th or 5th step to a Nazi state. Remember, these same types of things happened right before they started slaughtering the Jews wholesale. Like they were cattle, like they were nothing. Deplorable, sick, inhumane treatment of other human beings. It was disgusting. So while you're playing around, while you're worried about spending $700 on a fucking PlayStation, while you're waiting for the new Jays or the new Colin Kaepernick AF1s or the next Kaepernick black on black jersey or whatever it is that is distracting you from what's going on, while you're waiting for that, our enemy who is standing adjacent is plotting the next terrorist attack on our country to take it over, ultimately become the government, and then come into our communities so they can slaughter us wholesale. If you are not preparing yourself for this potential eventuality, then shit, vaya con Dios, I guess. I mean, hasta luego. Shit, I mean, real talk. If you're playing around, I mean, like for instance, like I didn't even watch the whole video because I just didn't see any point after the first few minutes. But like for instance, like many of you watched the Corey Holcomb show, the 5150 show. This past Tuesday, him and Zoe Williams had a huge falling out. Right? Now, I watched a video of some guys critiquing that particular episode of 5150. And the one guy said that basically they should have fought it out. Basically. I think that is one of the most immature and stupidest things for a grown-ass man to say. And this is why. Those are 2 middle-aged men. What business do they have getting into a fight over their opinions about each other? I mean, it's not like there was, anyway, let me focus. So, the whole point of that, bringing that up, is this. We have bigger fish to fry. To suggest in this day and age, right now, after what white supremacy just did and what they're planning on doing next week, based on that, we as black people do not have the leisure, we do not have the excess time to be worrying about silly, petty stuff. We really don't. It is very, very imperative that we focus on the task at hand, because things are changing. They're always changing. Everything is always in a constant state of flux. But every other group is aware of what's happening. We're the only ones, like Craig said to Smokey in Friday, the original Friday movie. You're the only one running up and down the street all day playing. You think Big Worm playing about his money? He know where my mama stay. He know where your mama stay. It's quite windy out here today. But it is a very serious situation that we find ourselves in. Now, some people may be brushing this off. You know, I talked to my one homie, and he's not brushing it off. I mean, he's just like, oh no, they're not coming up here, blah blah blah, whatever, you know. And I'm like, man, look, these people are getting bolder and bolder and bolder. They're getting more and more bold. You think they won't march their way up the Beltway? You think they won't? The police are on their side. A lot of military personnel were amongst the rioters. They have the weaponry. Sure, there is weaponry there. And you may be right, but don't underestimate these individuals. Don't sleep on them. We cannot afford to allow ourselves to fall victim to this terrorist insurgency. We cannot allow ourselves to fall victim to that. Me, myself, personally, I hate the fact that I have children that are now growing up in the world that is being created right now because of the actions of these racist white supremacists. Why do I keep calling them racist white supremacists? Because they were donning a fucking Confederate flag inside the Capitol building. And if that doesn't make them a white supremacist, then you're fucking stupid. And you should probably do us all a favor and just cut your own coil to the... Just cut your own line to the mortal coil. And just, you know... just be out of the way in any event. The white supremacists are not playing. They are ready for war. My people are not. Many of us are not. There are a lot of us that are, but many of us are not. Some people may say, what about the NFAC? I always like to sit back and watch things and watch how they unfold before I give an opinion or any support. Now, sometimes I may be hasty and look at certain things and be like, oh yeah, now that's what it do. And then later find out other information and say, oh damn, I can't believe I was so hasty as to believe that blah, 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 or X, Y, Z, right? And I did that with the NFAC. I don't hear much from them lately. The dude, Jam Master Jay, apparently he had got locked up on some federal gun charges or assault charges or something to that or something to that effect. And he was held for maybe a day or so, something like that, and was let go on a weekend. And this, now I could be misquoting, I could be wrong in the length of time or the portion of the week in which he was released. But if it was on a weekend, where the fuck does that happen at? Where does that happen at? On a weekend? No. If it was during the weekend, it was like he was let go, okay. But a federal gun charge and they let you go without a bail? I'm sorry, no. That doesn't happen. They either let you go because you are a confidential informant or, yeah, you're a fucking confidential informant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in their pocket one way or another, basically. Certain things just don't happen. Like I said, I don't know, but that's the way it looks to me. I've had similar not similar situations, but I've had people who have been through similar things when caught in how do you say, not even caught in, but for, I don't want to say too much. There was a raid that I was involved in, a homie that I was with when the police did the raid on the apartment across the hall. Eventually, they ended up in the apartment that we were in. They took the homie across the hall, was taking pictures of him. Basically, it was a stash house. Basically, they were taking pictures of him in the stash house, whatever, blah blah blah. He comes home the next day, or 2 days later, or something like that. And I was surprised because if they were trying to set him up, pin some shit on him, or whatever, why would he come home the next day or within 2 days? That didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And I thought about that. I didn't question him because we were homies, but that always looked really suspicious to me. And then some other things happened, not that far in the future from that point, excuse me, and that shit changed everybody's lives. The signs were there, you just don't notice them all the times when it's somebody that you have trust in, you know? But in any event, the whole point of that, I forgot. I forgot the point of telling you guys that story. But I do want to get back on track with the terrorist attacks and the, excuse me, the upcoming terrorist attacks. Please be ready, black people. Please be ready. If you don't have firearms, try and get them. I don't know what the wait time is wherever you are. I know here where I am, it's like a week and a half. So, you know, it's not bad. But guns are getting expensive. They're becoming quite expensive. And if you're one of the unfortunate people who are unemployed or do not have a secondary source of income other than financial assistance from the government or another person, it may be hard for you to get a gun. Try to find people to be around that are protected so that you can get some cover also. But if you do have the means to do so, please arm yourself. Excuse me, please arm yourself. If you have the ability to do so, please do it. I can't stress it enough how serious this is. These people are not playing. They are not playing. They're dead serious. And they're out for blood. White supremacy is a blood cult, just like I believe religions are death cults. Blood cults, death cults. White supremacy is a death cult also. They relish in murder and mayhem and barbarism and savagery. They relish in it. Understand? They relish in it. That's why there's always perpetual conflict somewhere in the world with their hands on the trigger. Sometimes bullies don't understand reason. Sometimes bullies don't understand or want to listen to logic. Most bullies don't care about any of that. Most bullies, I believe, aren't smart enough to even understand how to be logical or rational. All they understand is swift, blinding violence. And that goes for 99% of the bullies out there. The best way to stop a bully is to respond to that bully with the only thing that they understand. So if you gotta bust that motherfucker in the mouth, then you just have to bust him in the mouth. White supremacy is a bully that needs to get punched in the fucking mouth. If you've never punched a white supremacist in the mouth, then you should probably try it. I'm not telling you to start anything. I'm telling you to end it. It's time, black people. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time to stop being children. It's time to stop playing around. It's time to stop being petty. It's time to stop worrying about who's going to be in the next versus battle. Listen, we can pick that shit up after we fight white supremacy. You can buy all the fucking Jordans you want after we slay the fucking dragon. Understand? You can do all the silly, goofy shit you want to do after we put in this fucking work. Why the fuck don't people understand that? Put in the work first and then relax. You want to relax and never put in the work. This problem's not going to fucking solve itself. I had a homeboy who told me his grandmother said that Trump was the Antichrist and he believed it. I'm like, bro, listen. Trump is not the fucking Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist. These white supremacists didn't need Trump in order to do this. They just needed a reason to do it, and Trump gave it to them. Bro, study the history of this country. This is not the first time white people have executed terrorist plots on American soil. They've been doing it forever. We live in a country where presumably only 2 presidents were murdered, assassinated. I mean, shit, there have been coup attempts on the American government before. I mean, so to try to lay all this at the feet of something supernatural and to lay it at the feet of one person, I think that's just, I think that's naivete. I think that's naivete, personally. But if you don't stand up and fight for your life, black people, nobody else will. We have no friends.